Hi, Marbs here, and today we're going to look at another controller, and this time it is one from the Victrix line. This is the Pro VFG. It's made by PDP, now owned by Turtle Beach, I believe, and this is their high-end performance controller. Now, this was not a review sample provided by PDP, and everything you hear in this review is my impressions of a controller that I purchased with my hard-earned money. Now, this is their high-end product. It is different from the Elite series in a couple of different ways. First of all, it does come with a nice case. It does come with a nice braided USB cable. It is purple. It does have a cable shortener on it so you can lock it down. Now, the controller I'm going to set off to the side for a second, and I'm going to talk about the accessories in the case. In the case, you get a styrofoam block that is removable, and this has the fight pad. Now, the fight pad are clicky mouse style buttons that can be used for fighting games. Now, this starts with the Victrix interchangeability that allows you to change the modules and the orientation of the modules within the controller. In addition, you can see here the USB dongle, and then they have some control gates that you can use for an octagonal type gate to help you with, I guess I would say maybe fighting games or something where you want to make sure you're going straight and lock it down. In addition to that, they have what I like to call this mushroom D-pad. I don't know, it's just kind of mushy in the center and I don't care for it. A regular cross D-pad, high thumbstick, and then a rounded top short thumbstick, and then their removal tool, and that allows you to exchange the modules. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute, but let's talk about the controller itself. Now, the controller itself is interesting in a number of things. It's about the same size as the regular controller. It has a very good feel. It has buttons on the back. It does not have paddles. They are non-replaceable, non-integrated. On the top, you have replaceable thumbsticks. They can be replaced, as we saw the additional thumbsticks in there. They just sort of snap on, snap off. Got a purple base, a black tops. I have both of the shorts installed right now. The A, B, X, and Y buttons on the controller, I don't particularly care for the size. I wish they were just slightly bigger maybe. And due to the design and the swappability, I'm not sure there's enough room and enough spacing to make them a little bigger, but that is something I'm not crazy about already. It does use kind of an interesting D-pad setup here. It's kind of what I like to call an X dish, and it actually works pretty good. I've actually kind of like it the best out of all of them. Now, the start option and select and screenshot buttons, they're not really buttons. They're kind of rubberized areas of the controller that you can press down on, and that's kind of a little bit different too. They do have grip on the top, and they do have grip on the sides. There is a gap between the side rail and the top. The grip does feel good though, and it does feel adequate. However, the little missing inside grip here, kind of do miss that. Kind of don't like that fact that that's kind of slippery. Could be kind of slippery there. Does have a input for a audio, so you can plug your microphone or headset directly in it, and that gets into its Dolby Atmos license that it offers. On the back, you have the 4 paddles, then you have the programming button, then you have the clutch stops for the paddle controls. Now, this allows you to set the paddle any way you want, and that allows you to get the exact pressure that you want out of the paddle. And I think that's really, really good. If you want it all the way open, you can have it all the way open. If you want it part way, or if you want it really tight, you can make it really tight. I do like the bumpers. The bumpers have a very good feel, and they do have no texturing, but just the shape of where they are, they feel very, very natural. Much better than a lot of other controllers. has a USB-C charging port in the front or connectivity port. Now, it can be used one of two ways. You can use it with the wireless dongle that we talked about here. Now, this wireless dongle is a PDP dongle that they use, and it's their proprietary connectivity from the controller to the Xbox. Now, this also allows the use of the PDP utility. Now, the Victrix utility is available for download, and it is something that you're going to want to download, because one of the things that you need to do, and this is very important here, if you want to get the best performance out of the controller, whether you use it on the PC or whether you use it on the Xbox, you're going to want to use the Victrix app to calibrate the controller. And that's very important just to get the controller optimized as best as it can. Now, the use of the dongle can be used on the Xbox or the PC to connect the controller. Now, it pairs automatically and there is no problem. Now, you can also use the cable. Now, the cable obviously provides a direct wire connection for the controller to either the Xbox or to the PC. The utility that we see, the Victrix utility here, can also update the firmware on both the console version and the PC version. So that's nice that it's all integrated all in one. I found the Victrix utility to be pretty good. I think it has a lot of good options, has a lot of good troubleshooting for the controller, and it is more full-featured than a lot of its competitors. For sure, you're going to want to revisit the calibration to make sure your sticks are calibrated. And that, I will tell you, leads to much better performance. Overall, let's talk about the performance of the controller. I found the controller fit to be natural. I liked it. I mean, I do. I didn't care for the button size. I thought the buttons were a little small. Now, I also don't like the fact that you cannot remap the AB buttons in such a way. The AB buttons always have to be the AB buttons. And that's kind of an interesting thing. I don't know quite why that is. I think it has something to do with the fight pad. If you use the fight pad module, I think that it has to have some way to key on that to be able to lock that down. So that might be part of it. Now, as far as performance goes, on the dongle over the wireless, I found the performance to be okay. I wouldn't say it was stellar. I wouldn't say it was as good as my Elite Series 2 or the normal wireless Xbox controllers that I use. I would say that it was less than that. Now, why? Well, according to what I've read online, a lot of that has to do with the latency. Latency over the wireless is pretty high, evidently. Now, when I plugged the controller directly in, the performance was very good, and I gotta say, much improved to the point where I was playing with it, I found it to be much better. The only thing is now I'm playing with a wired controller again. Now, that's not necessarily something that I want to do. And, you know, a lot of you who know me know that I love the wireless controllers and I never give those up. So this is kind of a quandary for this one. I like the controller. I like the fit. When it's connected wirelessly, I don't know. I mean, it just seemed kind of laggy, especially in some of the games I was playing. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but I mean, it didn't seem as responsive as other controllers that I've used. And I don't know if that's the polling rate or just the way that the controller is designed. Overall, though, I think it's a pretty good effort. I just think it needs a little bit more polish. Now, the lack of the Hall Effect sticks is something else I'm not crazy about. I'm hoping that they will do something about that in the near future, and a little birdie tells me they will. But overall, I think it's a good controller, but I think there's better controllers out there for equal to or the same money, so I'm not sure I can recommend it. I would suggest that it might be a good controller for somebody who likes the features of this controller. So that's probably the best way we can go with this. My name's Marbs. Subscribe for me if you can. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye now.